his condition, and we weren't taking any chances.
So after your first barrage of bullets between you and your other officers, y'all didn't assume that maybe everybody in the car could have been dead already?
Assuming that kind of thing might lead to further injuries on the part of the policeman. So if you're not sure in a deadly force situation, you need to continue to fire.
Okay. And you say your reason for feeling threatened was what?
2 police officers had already been wounded. One had been...
No, initially, what was your initial reason for feeling your life was in danger?
One of the police officers was hit as the car began to move, and then that car continued into a police van, injuring another police officer. And at that point, we were uncertain as to what the intentions of these individuals in the vehicle were, and given the injuries, we felt we needed to protect ourselves.
Okay, now before this court, you just gave a whole list of reasons why you feel your life was in danger. But the statement you gave to investigators is that you saw someone with a gun, reaching for a gun inside the car, and that is what made you feel that your life was in danger. Why didn't you give all these statements to the initial investigating officer?
Sometimes in the heat of the incident, you don't always remember everything that goes through your mind. We were still uncertain as to whether or not there was a gun in the vehicle. People were making motions, and from my point of view, it was quite possible that someone was attempting to reach down for a gun.
Okay. When the initial sergeant arrived on the scene and you gave your statement, Sergeant Donald Kipp, you told Sergeant Donald Kipp that you wasn't sure if you had fired any rounds at all from your gun. So my question to you is, if you fired your gun, emptied the clip, reloaded it, and emptied the whole other clip, how could you not be fired? How could you not be sure if you had fired any rounds at all? You forgot about the first and the second clip?
I was very, very upset. Everything happened very quickly. I didn't remember everything, and quite frankly, I was in a state of shock.
So you were so upset that you forgot about 2 whole clips?
At that point.
I have no further questions.
Examination.
How you doing today, Officer Oliver?
I'm still bald. Thank you.
Okay, when the shooting started, I'm sorry, let me go back some. When Mr. Bell and his friends came out of the nightclub, how many people were present? 4. Okay. Do you remember what happened to the 4th person?
She walked away.
Do you have any reason why, maybe?
No.
Okay. Once you noticed that the 4th person was walking away, when did you feel that the situation was going to get out of hand?
We weren't certain, but it was possible that because of the intensity of the argument, that threats made might have been literal. And when Mr. Guzman threatened to get a gun. We thought that was certainly a possibility.
Do you know how much alcohol was consumed by Mr. Bell?
I heard afterwards that he was legally intoxicated.
Looking from where you were and where the incident occurred, did Mr. Bell and his friends seem intoxicated?
They did, and the argument itself was very intense.
Okay, it is true that the strip club, Kahlua, you all had under surveillance for the drug violence and strip.
Yes, ma'am, and that also made us more careful in our approach.
Okay, so it is safe to say that you all were already on kind of pins and needles with the whole stakeout at hand and the environment that you were in.
Certainly, there was the possibility of violence.
Okay. In a normal confrontation without the stakeout being at hand, how would the situation of a person running over an officer change? How would it
Well,
proceed?
certainly, if an officer is assaulted under any circumstances, the police are told that we have to defend ourselves. And so even in a situation where we're just walking up on something, a physical assault on an officer escalates the situation, and we have to protect ourselves and our fellow officers.
Are you familiar with the backgrounds of any of the individuals involved?
Afterwards, I heard that all of them had previous criminal records.
And let the record show that these criminal records involve gun charges, drug charges, very violent crimes on all three victims. That would be all for now, Your Honor.
Peter? Yes. In the police report, it stated that you and your partners were undercover in a strip bar, right?
Yes.
Okay. It also states in the police report that over the next 2.5 hours, you and the other officers had to drink beer to keep your cover, according to the report.
Yes.
So over a 2.5 hour span, how many drinks would you say you and your partners had? Over 2.5 hours to keep you covered.
I had two.
So you're telling this court that over a 2.5 hour span, you only had 2 drinks?
It's important to stay sober in these situations. You have to blend in, but you obviously can't be impaired in a situation that might cost an officer his life.
Okay. And from these 2 drinks that you had over 2.5 hours, would it be safe to say that to a certain extent that you were also intoxicated?
No.
No? How many drinks did Michael Bell and the other victims have?
I didn't notice. I went to the bathroom a couple of times.
You didn't notice? Okay. And after all the shooting was over and the scene was searched, were there any weapons found upon the victim in his party?
No.
So the one dead victim, the other half dead victim, and the other victim, they were shot even though they were unarmed.
That is correct. And they had also injured 2 police officers at that time.
Well, according to the report, one police officer, his leg was brushed by the car. And could you tell the court what the other officer that was injured?
The
Because
one-
according to the police report, this was the only officer that was.
I was under the impression that the officer in the van was also injured. The car hit the police van, and I was under the assumption that the officer in the van was also hurt.
Okay, now you gave a statement that there was a fourth victim, there was a fourth suspect, the suspect who you allegedly seen with the gun. He was seen fleeing from the scene. My question to you is, if this fourth subject was fleeing from the scene, the very subject that had the gun, the very reason why you all felt threatened, why when all the shooting was over, no one pursued the very guy who had the gun?
That wasn't my responsibility. And again, we had people down, and that was something that took our attention at the time.
Again, detective, this mysterious subject with the gun was you all's reason for shooting. Once everything is over, no one decided to pursue the reason you all were shooting in the first place?
It was something that happened instantaneously. We were concentrating on making sure that the people in the vehicle didn't attempt to hurt anyone else. And I was uncertain as to what the other officers were doing.
So this guy with the gun was that unimportant?
I didn't say that. I just said that there may have been other people, there may have been other weapons in the car, and until we were convinced that that's part of the situation was under control, that's where our attention was.
I have no further questions.
You may step down.
Thank you.
Defense, call your witness.
Your Honor, I would like to call Miss Jean Nelson.
You said tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I did.
How you doing this morning, Ms. Nelson?
I'm great.
Are you and Mr. Bell pretty good friends? Y'all been knowing each other for a long time?
Yes.
Okay. Around what time did you and Mr. Bell walk out of the nightclub?
Like 4 o'clock.
Okay. What happened as you were coming outside?
Kind of got into it with some people that were in the club or whatever, but it kind of died down.
Okay. Why didn't you get in the car with Mr. Bell?
I stayed close by the club, so I just walked home.
Okay. What time, how far were you from them when you can say you heard the first shots fired?
Probably like around the corner, not far, because I did hear it.
Okay, did you hear any of the officers speaking or identifying themselves? Okay, so it's safe to say that you were too far from the scene?
Yeah, to hear it, yeah, that.
How long would you say your walk is from the club to your house?
About 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
So when you heard the shots fired, did you turn around or you kept going?
I kept going. No, it's normal.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Prosecution, President.
No questions?
You may step down. Anything else? Prosecution or defense?